Hello friends, day 54, bar is closed. All right, we're going to keep it kind of short and sweet tonight, but I'm going to drink again, of course, at some point. I'm going to be a grown-up like anybody else is with my drinking. I'm going to choose wisely. I'm not going to be a daily drinker. I have to come up with some structure as to when and how and why I choose to take in a potion that's outside of my normal body chemistry. I want to spend a little time here at the end recognizing and going over and reviewing, even on the show, the health hazards of drinking too much or drinking at all. I'm sure the list is long, and some of you have heard of it, some of you haven't, but, regardless of whether or not you can mentally, take charge of your life and drink as much as one does, when will it catch up with you? That's something I'm kind of curious about. We all have heard about the liver and the kidneys and the everything else, but what else, right? And I also really kind of want to start exploring beyond what I've discovered on my own about, my own inside out look at myself. I really want to start looking at, what kind of guests I'd like to bring on and what kind of research I'd like to do as to how are we wired to be addicts? How are we wired, to ultimately love that excess? Why is excess such a badge of honor for great achievers? And, what in the whole concept of our neuroplasticity and those early childhood traumas where I found that alcohol was my saving grace, and some of that, what wired there that didn't stop, and how did it get reinforced, and ultimately how have I continued to pump those neurons to continue with that same behavior? Because again, we all know that once we choose behavior and we live into that behavior and we create addictions out of that behavior, those addictions are hard to come over. They're hard to get over. And, cigarette smoking, one of the biggest ones. Really hard for people. Simmering down your drinking if you're a full-blown drunk or an alcoholic or even just a heavy drinker. Hard to get a handle on that shit at any point in your life, at whatever age you're in. If you're still living in your shit and your drama and your trauma and you haven't addressed those things on your own in any healthy way, why the fuck would you not want to drink? I mean, if life is just something you're enduring, why the fuck would I not want to drink? Is life something that is more than just getting by? And if so, is drinking getting in the way for me living a spectacular life? I mean, quite frankly, yes, for me, that much of it, and that irresponsibly. But, we all got to grow up. It doesn't matter what age it is, and we all got to make these decisions on our own. And my clarity on this is I do really want to spend I don't think I've got any more rich thoughts inside of me about when, where, and how, and why. Right? I think I've covered it. I hardly remember what I said, but I was coming out of drinking right into this sobriety show, first day sober. So it's all been there, and as authentic as I can give it. It's almost living into my fear of what more the fuck do I say without actually having a drink. I think it'd be much more interesting if I could just open up a bottle of wine and talk to you for the next hour over a couple of bottles of wine. I'm sure I could come up with all kinds of shit to say, but would I want to listen to it back? It's a big fucking question. I think at this point, we only got really another week left, a little less than a week left, if you will. So I'm kind of curious to dig into some more things outside of myself and bring them back into the fold here to kind of make room for what's going to happen in season 2, whenever that's going to happen. And what's going to come out of that is not just one person figuring out what the hell all this means, but maybe lending a hand to bring other voices in to help others who might have to have the same conversation someday or now. That's all I got for you tonight, guys. I really appreciate you guys being here with me on this whole journey and keeping me honest. Good night.